Hi, today I'm looking at 4 business tips that is going to help you grow this year. So as we look at these, then look out for ways in which you can improve your business with just some simple, perhaps ways of thinking, maybe a couple of different ways of strategizing the way in which you're going to advertise your business and build your branding. And also, as we look at SEO, I'm going to just look at an interesting thought that is being in 10th place, at the bottom of the first page, better than being in 9th place. And you're going to see, in fact, how what place you position yourself in will make a big difference to the traffic you receive this year. So welcome to my video. Hi, I'm Zane from Zanet Design, and I help businesses like yours grow on the internet. So whether it's a case of building your website up and making sure you come up in the rankings, whether it's about being involved in local SEO with Google My Business, or whether it's just about finding ways in which you can improve your branding and your website on people's mobiles, then I try and use my 20 years of experience to help you. So today we're looking at this 4 thoughts, 4 areas, 4 tips that are going to really benefit your business this year. So reality check number 1 is to recognize that you do need SEO. Now, SEO is search engine optimization. Why do you need SEO? Well, because sometimes when people have a website built for them, it looks really pretty, it works well, they sign it off and they're happy with it. And then a few weeks go by and they wonder why they've got no inquiries, no customers. Well, really, it's like building a shop in a desert. You build this beautiful, lovely shop, the signposts there, you've got it fully stocked up, and you're waiting now for someone to walk in through the door. And yet, your shop is in a desert. No one walks around there. You're in a situation where there's no footfall. So without putting your shop on a main street, on a high street, or in a shopping parade, or on a mall, then no one's going to walk through the door. And this is one of the things I'm trying to help businesses realize, that having a nice website doesn't bring traffic. You might like your website, you might even talk about it to other people, but what you need to do is you need to market your website. You need to have a budget set aside for search engine optimization, or certainly for marketing. How do you go about that? Well, then it's about producing leaflets, making sure people are aware of it through indexes, making sure that you use search terms that real people are searching for, that are then going to find your business and go, that's what I'm looking for. That's the service I need. That's the product I want. And then they'll then purchase from you. One of the quickest ways to get up to speed, of course, is for advertising. So there's Google Ads, for example, is one way which people choose to go about that. Bing Ads is another. But this is the reality check, is whatever you do need search engine optimization. How you go about that optimization, well, that's down to you. But what is interesting is there's lots of companies out there will promise you, they'll phone you up, they'll say, I can do search engine optimization. Well, I'm a bit of a realist. I think that a lot of these companies, they'll promise you that they'll make you number 1 on a certain search term. But the reality is if that search term isn't being used by any person, then you might as well be in the desert. Let me explain what I mean. If I said, for example, I'm a web design business. If I said I can make myself number 1 on web design business in the Bournemouth Southbourne area for people that need mobiles. Now, that's a long amount of words. In fact, probably no one on this planet has ever typed that in to Google. And on that basis, if I now type that into Google because I made that my main heading, my H1 tag, I probably would be number 1 within minutes. In fact, it's an experiment that I could possibly even do if I had time today. Maybe I'll do in a different video in the future. But I think that I could make myself number 1 for a certain key term within 5 minutes of producing the blog. The reason I say that is because anyone can make a certain amount of words appear in a line and make it number 1 when you search for them. What you need to be aware of when you speak to search engine optimization companies is, can they make you number 1 for the words that are really being searched for? So for example, if you were selling jewellery and you were in the Bournemouth area, could you come up number 1 for being Bournemouth Jewellers. Well, if you could, you'd be getting a lot of interest, a lot of traffic. And that would be the same wherever your company is. But what you can do, which we'll go on to see as another point in a moment, is you can get to that number one in a different way to organic traffic. But we're talking about search engine optimization, organic traffic. That's about using certain keywords that real people are searching in the search engines for. And when they press the button to find a search result in Google or Bing or wherever it is, then you come up in the top 10, which is on the first page. When you can get to that point, then you've done well. And that's the first thing. The reality check is people don't just turn up on websites unless you market it or do search engine optimization. So my number 2 reality check, the second point is going to help you grow your business. The next powerful tip is to make sure that you know how or what action someone is about to take when they turn up on your website. So what do we mean by this? Well, often the expression, the call to action is used. And what you need is you need to understand that when someone turns up on your website and they're the ideal customer, what is it you want them to do? Now, here's another reality check. If you don't know what they're to do, then how will the person who turns up know what to do? So for an example, if you turn up at a web page and there is a big heading and it says do this, this and this, and there's a button that then says take action or call me today or book an appointment or make sure that you download this information that you need, well, then that's a call to action. But every website really, and particularly on the home page and on the home banner, needs one button that's clear. So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to contact you to find out more information? Do you want me to do all I can to, jump through loops though, and jump through several pages to find out what to do? Well, of course, the latter one's never going to happen. When people turn up, they want it easy. They want to know, what is it you want me to do? How do I go about purchasing your service or your product? So what I want you to consider is when people come to your website, is it easy for them to know what to do? And one of the best ways you can find out is to ask others to visit your website, particularly friends that have never visited before. Ask them to be honest, visit your website, and then find out exactly what it is that they are expected to do. But ask them, what did they think they were meant to do when they came to your website? And you'll be surprised that because you know your website and because you know your product and you know what you want them to do really, you'll be blind to the fact that they don't know and you're not giving them enough information to make that type of decision. So I want you to look at your website, and that's the reality check number 2, is what is your call to action? And be honest about it. And one of the ways you can find out is through, there's a product called UserCrowd. I'll put the address below. UserCrowd, what they do is they pay for people to just randomly come to a website and then ask them some questions about what goes on. So if you wanted to use that, that's a useful facility to get that. What you can do for free is I offer a critique, an honest critique. So you can see through my videos that I've taken local businesses or businesses that have contacted me, and for free at the moment, and this is a limited time, I've given them an honest critique of their website. So it takes about 20 minutes or so of video. And during that, I'll look at page speed, I'll look at call to action, which is the point we're making here, and I'll look at other things as well, usability, whether it works on a mobile, what the Google My Business is like. It's kind of all sorts of things. And the challenge I give myself when I do this is I'm going to find 5 things that are going to need improvement. And that's a free service I'm doing currently, though it is something that I'll probably look at charging in the future. So if you haven't done that, then in the comments below, subscribe first of all, then put your comments below. And then if you want me to go to your website and give you an honest critique, I'll certainly try and fit it in if I get a chance in a future video. So that's point number 2 then, is make sure that you know what your call to action is for your customer. So my point number 3, or my reality check or tip number 3, is to get yourself obviously involved in Google My Business. Now, I know most of my videos have ended up defaulting to this, but it's because it's probably one of the most powerful types of SEOs. So we mentioned point 1 about SEO with organic keywords, but this is a different way to get into the top 3 on your on the search engine results for kind of a slightly different type of keyword. This is more based on perhaps a local town, or when they type in something like a business like a jeweler's near me, then your business can also be shown on maps, or it can be shown through the top 3 pack. So we've spoken about how to get in there, and there's many videos that will give you some clear direction of how you can claim your business, register it, and then start to optimize it. And we've got beginners and intermediates, an expert, and all sorts of other videos that are going to help you in that sense if that's something you haven't done already. But let's just consider, why is it so important to get into the top 3? Why is that so important? Well, some of the facts go to show that organically 31% of visitors will click on the number 1 area of the search engine result. The number 2 is 24%, number 3 is 18%. So when you add that all together, it's more like about 75% of all the terms that are searched for are then normally clicks on the top 3 results. So if you're coming in the top 3 results, then that's going to be quite impressive, isn't it, when you consider that? Number 4, 13%. Number 5, or if you're in 5th place, just around 10%. 6th place, 6%, and so on. You can see here on this graph. But you notice that actually being 9th is worse than being 10th. And there's just an interesting little thought that if you're making the first page, the top 10, then actually you may not want to jump until you get to about 7th place. It starts to improve. So just jumping 1 or 2 places makes a huge amount of difference on traffic. And it's really worth bearing in mind that if you can get yourself in the top 5, then you've really done well. If you can get the top 3, even better. And Google My Business will help you to do that. And Google My Business is all about really trying to get traffic from those types of results by being shown as a local business to those things as well. Now, one of the other things as well that I think is important to do is to try and also get into other directories. So the reason why you can rank higher on Google My Business is not just about reviews and posts and putting up images, and all those things really help. And we've even discussed recently of how even having an authoritative domain on your website related to it can help too. But one of the other things that helps is just having yourself indexed in authoritative indexes and listings. So what do I mean by this? Well, certain types of industries and services need or get better ranking by Google if they're listed in those types of areas. So for example, attorneys and solicitors, there'll be indexes that you need to go in. For certain types of services like pet shops, there's a service for them and indexes for them, again, that are relative to them. So estate agents have quite a few of their own unique ones as well. If you really want to know what categories, what indexes you should be aiming for based on your category, your business category, then there's a really good link I'll put here for you. It's whitespark.ca, best citations by category. And this is really useful to just show you how that can be done, how you can get into certain directories. And then, of course, the links that come back to your Google My Business and your website from these things is going to make a big impact on how the different ratings and rankings are done by Google. So Google sees these as authorities. We talk about link juice. It's almost like the more authoritative links that come through to your website and your Google My Business, then the more authority you gain as well. So again, if you don't understand this or about categories and the importance of interlinking and linking from external linking back externally, then again, there'll be another video that will help you to do that in the future. So that's my point number 3 then, is really just making sure that Google My Business is optimized, but particularly for your business category, and trying to get in the top 3 if you can by means of the 3 pack, we call it, which I've got a video about that too for you. So my 4th area is to keep branding to the fore. So what do I mean by branding? Well, branding is all about how your business is viewed, how people see it. It'll be about the logo, it'll be about the colours you use, about how you're perceived by other people. So when people see your branding, what's the perception, what's the message it gives to them? Do they see it as reliable? Do they see it as an honesty? Or do they see it as something that they try and avoid? Or is it a case where you just wouldn't recognise it because they haven't been exposed to it enough? Branding is important in this year in particular because it has a case of building up your strength, and Google is measuring branding at this occasion. So I think we mentioned in another video of mine how the branding itself is now measured in the analytics of Google, particularly when it comes to insights in Google My Business. It's trying to recognize when people are searching just for the company name. So in my case, if you did a search for Zanet Design Limited, then my company would come up. That's branding. If you saw my logo and you clicked on it, perhaps on an image, again, it would be branding. So branding is about people's perception and about people responding and looking for you as opposed to just coming across you, which is a slightly different way of getting traffic. So how can you improve on your branding? What can you do? Well, one of the things you can do is when you write a post, make sure that you put it out to other authoritative social media devices. So, for example, if you've got a blog that you've just written, then make sure that you also refer to it on Google My Business. Make sure you refer to it on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. And what this is doing is it's exposing your branding to more people. And it could be over time people then start to, after seeing it maybe 10, 20 times, they start to recognize it. So even when you don't get any click-throughs from other people, it doesn't mean you haven't implanted on their minds about your branding. So branding is essential in that sense too. And one of the other things about branding is it means that it improves click-through rates. So when people see your logo or they see who you are, they're more likely to click through as well. So branding kind of helps in a sense of it engages people. It builds also greater and stronger click-through rates too, which is important when it comes to Google measuring your click-through rates. That affects eventually your organic traffic, which goes back to point number 1, SEO. So hopefully that's been really useful. As a recap then, those 4 points. Number 1 is don't expect people to just turn up. You need to have search engine optimization so you can write posts, which actually ties in with point number 4, which is about then putting those posts on social media and enhancing your branding. Which takes us back to point number 2, which is about making sure that people know what you want them to do. Is the call of action clear? If you look at Google My Business, they have a button there that says learn more or call or find out or book. There's all these call to actions on here. And that's really important to see that call to actions have to be clear, and normally just one button on a website is all you need. And then finally, you can also make sure that you have your Google My Business, the third point, which is obviously to make sure that all those things kind of come together and you can get into the top 3, which hopefully provides a lot more traffic. So hopefully with all those things coming together, your branding will grow. You'll find you'll get greater traffic, your business will grow too, and hopefully those 4 tips are going to be useful for you over the coming year.